Wigan
120.
to get a PDC Tour card. He's unfortunate there to see that bounce out. Was looking good for an opening 180. He has battled and fought and scrapped through the last couple of rounds. In the last 16 in the quarter-final, he came from 4-1 down in both of them against Robert Thornton and John Henderson. It's been a day with some sparkling performances and more nines than a German referendum. 4 perfect legs.
91.
We've got to make it 5. We've got to make it more than that. Similar statistics for these two over the course of the day. Cullen averaging just shy of 94. Durrant a fraction of a point higher than that. Another one in there. Not going to happen.
98.
72 remain for Joe Cullen, a man who has won 1 PDC title. Sorry, 2 PDC titles, both in 2017. But before that, his first final in a senior PDC ranking tournament came a number of years ago, where he was beaten 57 by Phil Taylor. You go all the way back to 2011 for that. Double 16.
Game shot.
Very, very simple hold of throw for Joe Cullen to kick things off. 15 darter polished off on double 16. Last year, Joe Cullen was great on the European Tour, as he has been for a couple of years, but his floor form completely
100.
Deserted him. He was playing pretty dreadfully in these tournaments here. Barnsley, Wigan, Milton Keynes. Has he got his mojo back?
140. 180.
First maximum of this one, and it goes to Glen Durrant. Incredibly humble fellow.
78.
Glen. You talk to him. He's grateful for the opportunity. He's not bigging himself up. Even when he won that historic third Lakeside title, his first words were, "I know I'm not playing against the likes of Michael van Gerwen. I can only beat what's put in front of me." It's an extraordinary thing to say when you've won such a prestigious title.
140.
But this was his dream, to test himself against the best in the world. And today, he's shown some real character, some real grit. He's beaten Peter Wright,
60.
the number 3 seed, beat John Henderson in the quarterfinals, Robert Thornton, the all-time great, Zoran Lurchbacher, a man who's made a ranking final before. Actually beaten by Joe Cullen in that final.
20.
And he started the day against Mados Razma and came from 4-2 down there against the Latvian number 1. Durrant wants the 18s. He likes this double. Right on the wire. Is that help or a hindrance?
Game
it's
shot.
A help. Uses it expertly, Glen Durrant, as you would expect a 3-time world champion to do. 1-1.
100.
39 titles Glen Durrant has to his name, including 9 major titles in the BDO system. That is an extraordinary
60.
haul. I think there are a lot of comparisons between him and Stephen Bunting, the guy who'd been dominating the BDO circuit before moving over to the PDC. And Bunting had a good first year. How important would this be for Durrant to get a title under his belt in just his second event, set him up for 2019.
140.
Convince himself, convince everybody else that he has to be considered a real threat in tournaments.
75.
Just to illustrate Cullen's form on the floor events last year, you look at the 22 Players' Championship event. Cullen averaged a bit less than 91. There are 63 players who averaged more than him.
105.
This is a guy who's in the top 16 in the world. Those numbers shouldn't be next to his name. He should be right up there, as he was the year before, as one of the best performers in these tournaments.
96.
Certainly is one of the best on the European Tour. Double top.
80.
2 misses for Cullen. It opens the door. That's awkward. Could look at the 18s. Yeah, I think that's a sensible decision.
24 left.
It would have left him an awkward double had he hit. At least it would have given him a chance.
52.
I think that's an underused tactic. Yeah.
15.
Well, normally, had he had 3 darts in his hand looking at double 5, he'd have split it, but he was forced to go for it, and it wasn't very good.
Game shot.
And Glen Durrant does make him pay this time around. An early break of throw. 2-1. Obviously, these two have not run into each other in competitive action.
$100.
Don't think you'll see any antics. Joe's a player who can strut about and
123.
give it large, but he tends to reserve that for the stage stuff. And even then, most of the time, it's just a general swagger. The big celebrations or anything like that, he
100.
tends to keep bottled up until key moments, often just at the end of the game. At his best, you just see him trying to maintain that rhythm. And speaking with my co-commentator Chris Murphy, who saw a bit of him yesterday, he felt that perhaps he was getting dragged along by other players' rhythm, throwing far too quickly.
59.
Perhaps he does when he's playing his best. This looks a lot better. It is a little bit rapid.
128.
Look at that, the same amount of attention for every single dart. Joe Cullen is Rolls Royce when he is playing his best stuff. I don't think we've seen any of that today, to be fair. His highest average is 98.
180.
That is 180 number 2 for Duzza. Double 16 for Cullen.
78.
Does not break straight back. Double 16.
30.
Cullen allowed another chance. The Yorkshireman, you always fancy him with 3 darts. In this area of the board, at any rate.
Game shot.
Yeah, superb stuff. And so much of that, it's about the rhythm, where everything's automatic. The darts are thrown the same pace, the same gaps between them, and he allows it to be more automatic. He's not worrying about the shot. He's not too busy thinking about how quick or slow do I take it. It's automatic. It's one fewer thing to worry about. He's piled in his first 180 of this contest as well.
60.
All of Durrant's games have been tight. Peter Wright actually had the largest margin of victory. That was a 6-3 win. That's where we
58.
saw Duzza average just over 98. His best numbers for the day. So far, as anyways.
$45.
Dave Chisnell and Johnny Clayton fighting it out over on the other board with Chris Murphy, both averaging in excess of 100. And Chizzy is just edging it at the minute, 4-3.
80.
Chizzy, a man with 12 PDC titles, but last year he did not win a single one and he didn't make a major final. That's the first year that's ever happened in the PDC while Chizzy's been here.
180.
Well, it's the third 180. This may be in vain in this leg.
137.
Yeah, excellent setup shot from Cullen. Leaves himself 46, so it'll be 14 and double 16 for him.
60. 14.
Couple of clicks there as he flicks it against the wire. .156 is not going to go, so Cullen will come back. And once again, 3 darts.
81.
Looking at double 16, you think it's going to go on the 16s or 8s, although Cullen is a big fan of the double 4. That's not going to come into play here. Carbon
Game
copy
shot.
stuff. Couple of misses at the 16, and the last start saves him on double 8. 3-2, Joe Cullen. See, yesterday, Joe Cullen did win his board. In fact, it's only Johnny Clayton, Michael Van Gerwen and Joe Cullen are the
96.
only players, thanks to Burton DeWitt for this stat, to have won their boards. That's winning their first 3 games for both days this weekend. But Cullen, very fortunate
41.
to do so yesterday. Absolutely nowhere near his best stuff. He won his first 3 games with averages of 92, yeah, it's all right, 87, nothing to write home about, and 77, which is pretty dreadful, really, for Joe.
123.
The ironic thing was, while he was playing poorly last year in the floor tournaments, he had his best year in terms of the big TV tournaments.
180.
And that is 180 number 2 for Joe Cullen. Can he open up a gap here? Durrant has already come from a long way behind in his last 2 games, so you wouldn't have thought he's going to panic.
97.
But if you let Joe Cullen just play with freedom, if he feels confident, he could just tear you apart.
140.
We've seen him average more than 107 a dozen times on the European Tour over the last few years. He is an absolute king of turning up and playing his opening game or his second game on the Euro Tour and putting in a monstrous average and looking like one of the best players there. And being one of the best players there, he just hasn't got over the line and won one yet, hasn't made a final yet.
56.
Tops then for Glen after an excellent set-up shot.
Game shot.
Ties this game up 13 darter. There has never
97.
been any question about Glen Durrant's ability. Not over the last few years when he's been winning everything left, right and centre in the BDO. It's been obvious he is an absolutely phenomenal darts player.
180.
It did not look like we were going to get the chance to see him in the PDC. He said he was BDO for life. The opportunity
53.
to move over was not there. There was too much riding on it. But he quit his job the day before Q School. The relaxation of the BDO rules meant that he could always go back and play BDO if he didn't make it through Q School.
100.
But make no mistake, he says this is his dream. This is what he'd wanted to do. He said he was BDO for life because he was sick of people asking.
177.
That's an excellent visit from Joe Cullen. 177. It's not enough to get to a finish. A good setup shot from Durrant here could put him in charge.
89.
Not exactly what he was after.
$99.
Bull, double 16. There's room in there, but is it loose? He could go treble 14. Yeah, he did go 14. I think that's the wise decision. You can see that dart. It's not completely
84.
firmly in the bull. 17's the target. Now it's single 18 for tops. Double top.
35.
He has fashioned this chance, Glen Durrant. He needs to seize it. To go back into the lead.
Game
He
shot.
gets it. Holds his nerve. 15 darter. Glen Durrant. Never any question about his talent. There's a question about whether we'd have the opportunity to see him in the PDC and what kind of effect it'd have on him. Would he be overawed? No, he's a world champion. He's a 3-time world
100.
champion. And he has won those dozens of BDO titles by taking his
140.
opportunities when they presented themselves. Today is a massive opportunity. Loads of room in there.
$99.
Could be disappointed with that. 5-all between the Ferret and Chizzy over on the other board.
96.
It is first to 7, remember, in the semi-finals. Yeah, Yeah, moves to the 18s. Sensible stuff.
98.
Had he found another treble, he would have left a
86.
finish there.
$117.
That's good enough to leave a finish himself. 148 for Cullen. There is very little between them. They've been neck and neck right the way through
84.
this game. There's never been more than a leg between them.
$51.
Staying in the 18th segment. Now looking at the bullseye.
97.
This time he does not find it. 21 scored, leaves 76. Treble 20. Would have left double 8. Durrant
57.
comes back. Polish off the 25, and he's got a little bit of breathing space.
$17.
How vital could that be?
$20.
Maybe not very vital at all. Joe Cullen. 18 darts thrown. It would have been a breaker throw,
Game shot.
but double 4. The double that Cullen relies upon so much helps out Durrant in this instance. 5-3, 2 clear, 2 away.
93.
Shizzy is 1 away, 6-5 up on Johnny Clayton. Are we going to see the man from the northeast, Glen Durrant,
97.
make a PDC final in just his second ranking event and take on the man from the northwest,
58.
Dave Chisnell, who's won 12 PDC ranking titles, but is in the longest drought of his PDC career in terms of going all the way and claiming the prize. £10,000 in ranking money available today for the winner.
140.
And that could be a huge step forward for Duzzer if he is going to qualify for something like the Grand Prix, the match play.
85.
You'd still have a lot more to do, of course, but what an enormous jump forward that would be. We will, of course, see him in the Premier League as one of the contenders. That's this Thursday. Playing in Glasgow.
97.
Joe Cullen might have fancied that he'd be involved in that, but nope.
133.
133. Leaves him 132. Pretty much halving his score. Don't. This would hurt. But it's just too big an ask.
40.
Looks a good lie if he can find the 57. He can't. He's strayed into the treble 3 instead.
94.
Dave Chisnell is in the final, I can tell you. Treble 19. Would have given him a dart at bullseye. Not going to happen.
55.
Cullen may split this. No, he's gone straight at it. And he doesn't like it. Now does he split it? Yes, he does. 1 dart.
6.
And it's not enough. And it's doubles that have been the problem for Joe Cullen here.
$54.
That would have put him on the brink. Glen Durrant.
Game shot.
But Joe Cullen is still fighting away. He came from 5-1 down, Cullen, to beat Ryan Searle in his last match. Both of these men have produced incredible comebacks already today.
100.
Cullen has seen off Jeffrey
96.
Vaughan, Alan Tabban, Ryan Searle, as I mentioned in the previous game. Started the day by beating Ryan Meikle and then Mick Todd. But the averages all between 88 and 98. It's not his best stuff. He might have to give us a burst of his best stuff in the closing stages of this one if he is going to stop Glen Durrant going all the way to the final.
57.
That's not enough, Joe.
$140.
So much of the talk over the last
135
month or so has been about, well, last 2 months has been about Glen Durrant in the lead up to Lakeside, during Lakeside, straight after for Q School. He's looking at the 51. He pins the 51. Does he go for it? Oh, no. Well, surely, if he's looked at Cullen's score, he's not going to go for it. He's not.
129.
It's a sensible decision. 3 clear darts to go within a leg of your first
96.
PDC final. All eyes have been on Glen Durrant. He managed to handle the pressure at Q School and earn himself a PDC Tour card. He has managed to handle the pressure today, and he is within 501
93.
points of making the final. Absolutely spellbinding stuff from Glen Durrant. 4 180s and a 177 from Duzza.
96.
The average isn't stellar. It's low 90s. It doesn't matter. He has shown character and he has shown bottle. Well, 4 perfect darts. I thought for a moment he was going to get in on the act. In danger of there being more people who've thrown a 9-darter in Wigan today than those who haven't.
120.
Absolutely brutal bounce out for Joe Cullen. Another 60 points would have left him on a finish, but as it is, Glen Durrant has stolen the darts and is looking to steal through to the final. Absolutely superb.
$131.
60 points. That's all he needs. It could be an 11-dart leg from Duzza.
100.
A nod of the head from Joe Cullen. He's at least asked Duzza the question. But Durrant, who had all the answers in the BDO, whenever he asked a question of him at Lakeside, he has the answers here. And in his second PDC event, Glen Durrant is through to the final, just as Bunting did. And he will take on Dave Chisnell, the man from St Helens, for £10,000 in ranking money and a chance to be a PDC champion in double quick time.
We are